We're going to get started. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our gathering. I'm Reverend Eileen Fisher, and I'm joined tonight with Rev Nick Bullitt and Rev Nura Hirmina for our gathering. I also want to thank David for being our Zoom moderator tonight. The offering tonight is a contemplative practice, Visio Divina. It's a 4-step meditative practice of divine seeing, or seeing through the eyes of the heart. It's a practice that invites both stillness and insight. And I'm going to say it one more time in case you missed it. You might want to have paper and something to write with tonight. Chose this tonight because the present moment is so laden with injustice and pain and suffering. And I believe it's crucial for us to care for and attend to our inner spiritual life in order to sustain the work that is required of our outer life. It can be so easy to fall into exhaustion or despair as we face the intensity of the moment. Or we might be fueled by anger and outrage, and while that might get us moving, it's often unsustainable without a spiritual practice that invites us to remember and reconnect to the power with which we are all aligned. So then the question is, how do we remain active, of good service, without burning out or giving up? How do we remain hopeful, present to suffering, yet not incapacitated by it? Tonight's practice is being offered in the spirit of wise hope. Buddhist teacher Joan Halifax states that wise hope is not seeing things unrealistically, but rather seeing things as they are, including the truth of suffering, both its existence and our capacity to transform it. The earth and all her beings are crying out for transformation, for the dismantling of the ways in which we have failed over and over and over again to recognize the holiness in all her creation. Transformation is possible, and each one of us has a unique responsibility in bringing it forward. How you respond to this call for transformation is between you and your God. Maybe the response is in the form of protest or working to ensure policy change is enacted. Maybe the response is to be the presence of peace in places of discord. Or maybe the response is to rest, to be still, trusting that others are now finally standing up, speaking out, and taking action. I don't pretend to know what is yours to do, but I trust if you wish to see, to know, you will be guided. And firmly rooted in spiritual practice, each one of us can find a way to contribute to the upliftment of others with steadiness, with groundedness in the power of holy alignment. So how then can we see with the lens of the heart, with the eyes of the beloved, what is ours to do? This practice of Visio Divina is one way to see. Tonight we'll have 3 short sessions of Visio Divina using 3 different images. It'll then be followed by a brief breakout session so that you can connect and share a bit about your experience with others before we end the evening. The invitation tonight is to get still so that you may see the way to move into love in action, and together we can open our heart to the world. We'll begin tonight after Rev Nura leads us in an opening prayer.
Thank you, Eileen. The reading is The Eye of God from Awakening Osiris by Norman D. Ellis. The eye opens, seeing old men, women, and children. The eye opens, seeing gods, flesh, vapors. The eye recalls the beauty of the ordinary. It sees me, therefore I am. As such are we all created. It watches and pierces the heart. Who knows its name? Call it love, creation, conspiracy. Call it an impossible sky hung with moons and stars. It is yesterday or tomorrow. A million years traveling. The sun circles and the hawk. We follow a flow. Thus looked upon, the world receives its God.
Thank you, Nura. So David, I'm going to ask you to go to the next slide. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the steps of Visio Divina. You don't need to memorize them. We'll be really guiding you through it, but I just want to give you just a little insight into what it will be. So the first step is simply you'll be invited to enter into stillness and to meet the divine heart. The next step, you'll contemplate an image and just paying attention to what you notice first. The third step, you're then invited to expand your vision and see the whole picture, noticing what might be there for you. And finally, the fourth step is to ask yourself, what is God saying? What is love saying? What is spirit saying to you through this image? And that response might be a word, a phrase, or a sentence, or it might be a color, a shape, or an image. Again, you don't need to memorize these steps. You'll be guided through them each time with us this evening. So David, I'm going to ask you to begin the music, please. And we'll start tonight with a translation of Rumi that will guide our practice. Borrow the eyes of the beloved. Look through them and you'll see the beloved's face everywhere. So settle now into your space, gently closing your eyes, or perhaps just shifting your gaze down, connecting to your breath. Just be with your breath without changing it, just noticing it and allowing the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice any parts of your body that might welcome some release, some letting go. And begin to settle into the possibility of rest. Open your heart, opening to the divine heart, to the presence of God, of spirit, to the presence of love. As David moves to the next slide, I invite you to gently open your eyes. Slowly look and notice the image, taking your time to let feelings and thoughts come to you as you take in the forms, figures, colors, lines, textures, and shapes. What do you find yourself drawn to? Simply notice your response without judgment or evaluation. If you don't like the image or the feelings evoked, simply acknowledge that this is your initial response and continue to stay open to the image and the practice. Or if you find you have an immediate idea as to what the image means, again, simply acknowledge that's your initial response and stay open to the more as this practice unfolds. Open yourself up to the truth, wisdom, or gift that this image may be offering you. Now gently close your eyes again. Lean once more into the presence of love, feeling supported, open to the truth, wisdom, or gift that this image may have for you. Rest in stillness for just a moment. Once more, open your eyes. Return to this image with an open heart and mind. Notice if new thoughts, meanings, or feelings arise, or if your initial impressions expand and deepen. Let your eyes gaze at the whole piece. Take your time to look at every part of the image. See it all, welcome it all. What does this image stir up in you? What is it bringing forth for you? How is God or spirit or love speaking to your life in this moment through this image. What does Spirit want to say, evoke, make known, or express to you as you attend to it in quiet meditation? Rest in this quiet. Listen to Spirit, to God, to love, reign in you through this image. In the remaining few moments of practice with this first image, begin now to bring to mind or jot down any insights you want to remember, any actions you may be invited to take, wisdom you hope to embody, or any feelings or thoughts you wish to express. Perhaps Spirit spoke to you in a word, a phrase, or sentence. Or perhaps the Beloved spoke to you in color, shape, or image. Take a moment now to crystallize your experience in word or image, whatever form the Beloved may have shared with you. And then just rest for another moment in grace and love. Borrow the Beloved's eyes. Look through them, and you'll see the Beloved's face everywhere. As David transitions to our next slide, I invite you to take a breath, perhaps stretch, move just a little, and we'll continue this practice with Rev Nura and a second image.
Settle back into your space. Take a deep breath. Gently close your eyes or shift your gaze down, connecting to your breath. Be there with your breath without changing it, just noticing and allowing the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice any parts of your body that might welcome some release, some letting go. Settle into the possibility of rest and begin to open your heart, opening to the divine heart, to the presence of God, the presence of spirit, to the presence of love. As David moves to the next slide, gently open your eyes and slowly look and notice the image. Taking your time to let feelings and thoughts come to you as you take in the forms, figures, colors, lines, textures, and shapes. What do you find yourself drawn to? Simply notice your response without judgment or evaluation. If you don't like the image or the feelings evoked, simply acknowledge that this is your initial response and continue to stay open to the image and the practice. If you have any immediate ideas as to what the image means, again, simply acknowledge that this is your initial response and stay open to the more as this practice unfolds. Open yourself up to the truth, the wisdom or gift that this image may be offering you. Close your eyes again and lean once more into the presence of love, feeling supported, open to the truth, the wisdom or gift this image may be offering you. Rest in stillness for a moment. Open your eyes now and return to the image with an open heart and an open mind. Notice if new thoughts, meanings, and feelings arise. or if your initial impressions expand and deepen. Let your eyes gaze at the whole piece. Take your time. Look at every part of the image. See it all. Welcome it all. What does this image stir up in you? What is it bringing forth for you? How is God or spirit or love speaking to your life in this moment through this image? What does spirit want to say or evoke or make known or express to you as you attend to it in quiet meditation? Rest in this quiet. Listen as spirit, God, love is praying in you through this image. In the remaining few moments of practice with this image, bring to mind or jot down the insights you want to remember, actions you are invited to take, wisdom you hope to embody, or any feelings or thoughts you wish to express. Perhaps Spirit spoke to you in a word or phrase or sentence, or perhaps the beloved spoke in a color or a shape or an image. Take a moment to crystallize your experience in word or image, whatever form the beloved has shared with you, and then just rest for another moment in grace and love. You are crystal reflecting fire. In your own becoming, there is light, enough to lead you home. Now take a breath, perhaps stretch, move a little, and we'll continue this practice with Rev Nick with the third and final image.
Settle back into your space, gently closing your eyes or shifting your gaze down, connecting to your breath. Just be with your breath without changing it, just noticing and allowing the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice any parts of your body that might welcome some release, some letting go. Settle into the possibility of rest and begin to open your heart, opening to the divine heart, to the presence of God, of spirit, to the presence of love. As David moves to the next slide, now gently open your eyes and slowly notice the image, taking your time to let feelings and thoughts come to you as you take in the forms, figures, colors, lines, textures, and shapes. What do you find yourself drawn to? Simply notice your response without judgment or evaluation. If you don't like the image or the feelings evoked, simply acknowledge that this is your initial response and continue to stay open to the image and practice. If you have an immediate idea as to what this image means, again, simply acknowledge that this is your initial response and stay open to the more as this practice unfolds. Open yourself up to the truth, wisdom, or gift that this image may be offering you. Now, close your eyes again. Lean once more into the presence of love, feeling supported, open to the truth, wisdom, or gift this image may be offering you. Rest in stillness for a moment. Open your eyes now and return to the image with an open heart and mind. Notice if new thoughts, meanings, and feelings arise, or if your initial impressions expand and deepen. Let your eyes gaze at the whole piece. Take your time and look at every part of the image. See it all. Welcome it all. What does this image stir up for you? What is it bringing forth for you? How is God or spirit or love speaking to your life in this moment through this image? What does spirit want to say, evoke, make known, or express to you as you attend to it in this quiet meditation? Rest in this quiet. Listen as spirit, God, love is praying in you through this image. In the remaining few minutes of practice with this image, this final image, bring to mind or jot down the insights that you want to remember, actions you are invited to take, wisdom you hope to embody, or any feelings or thoughts you wish to express. Perhaps spirit spoke to you in a word or phrase or sentence, or perhaps the beloved spoke to you in a color, shape, or image. Take a moment to crystallize your experience in word or image, whatever form the beloved has shared with you, and then just rest for another moment in grace and in love. And now take a breath, perhaps stretch as David advances the next slide. Move a little. I am a part of all that I have seen. And now I pass it over to Eileen.
Thank you, Nick. Maybe just another breath, everyone. Try and bring yourself back to this space. We want to give you some time to connect with each other and share what this experience was like for you. You're going to be put into breakout groups. David will send an invitation. You just have to click to accept the invitation. And you'll have about 7 or 8 minutes to kind of share. And you can share really anything about what this experience was like, how contemplative practice has shaped your life, or whatever might be most salient for you at this time. You don't have to share what came up for you unless you wish to, but just maybe what was this experience like? Again, how contemplative practice may have shaped your life, or whatever else might be salient for you in this time, in this moment. So David, I'm going to ask if you can put us into breakout. And just so you know, these breakout groups, although this video is being recorded, this gathering is being recorded, the breakout session will not be part of the uploaded recording, so that you will be free to speak whatever you would like to share with your group. So it looks like some of us came back. Just wait another 30 seconds. I hope that you found that time fruitful. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Rev Nick. She will lead us in a closing prayer. Oh, here comes some more. Yay!
Okay, David, are we all back?
We might have just another moment.
Okay.
Okay, I think we might all be back. So Nick is going to lead us in a closing prayer. It'll be followed by a piece of music called All Ways Love by Paul Exact. So over to you, Nick.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so let us all come back together again and close our eyes and unify in this experience of prayer. Taking a deep breath in and releasing it. Divine Spirit, I know that you are the presence and power and love that is always moving and flowing and surrounding and enveloping all of life, all of creation, and every human experience. You are universal energy, pure vibration, the welcoming, the spaciousness, and the ease. And you are here, now, always. And as we bring this evening to a close, this evening of calm, this evening of peace, this evening of reflection, I know that we, all of us here now, will never be gathered in the same setting, in the same way again. And yet we are all connected in the oneness that is spirit, source, and love. I see and I feel the oneness that is the thread and the fabric that connects us all. It is the divine feeling, a divine expression of community and togetherness. So I honor this moment, this time, this experience as sacred and blessed. I trust that spirit guides all of us through loving eyes, through divine eyes, through the perfect seeing of the soul, knowing that each and every moment we come alive to life and love and possibility. We become re-enchanted with everyday life. We reacquaint with life, staying present with the little things, the large things, all feelings, expressions, and emotions. We allow divine seeing to be our way of being, welcoming the messages, images, insights, emotions that have arisen from this evening's practice to be present in our experience, and the new image that are coming forth in this practice, knowing that spirit, that still small voice is always present, always available to offer us the most aligned, loving outcome, the highest good. We can see through the lens of love. We can see through the lens of forgiveness. We can see through the lens of healing, knowing that we can shape and mold our own experience to be one of great peace and calm. And as difficult circumstances arrive, as it is the human experience, we can be present for them and see them for what they are. See them in the light of divine seeing. See them through a perspective that we may not have even come across before. I am knowing that we will move through the rest of our week. We are all now equipped with the contemplative tool to be present, to allow spirit to speak to us through us, and that we can shape and mold this practice that to what it feels to be accessible and connected to our spirit. And so we acknowledge this evening and this experience with joy and gratitude. And I simply release this prayer back into the universe, knowing that it is already met and received. And together we say, Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
Good night. You can unmute and say hi if you like.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you.
I loved it.